Welcome everybody to Tea and Tarot for September of 2021. Even though it's October, we're doing it in September. And thank you for your patience as I was traveling last week. I will be skipping Tea and Tarot for the month of October because I'll be abroad and I don't think that the time zones will line up, but then I'll be back in November with it. And in the meantime, I'm really excited to be sharing this deck with you today. And before we began recording, I was saying it almost feels unfair to show you this deck because I don't think you can get it. But it was gifted to me. This deck is called Priestesses of the New Earth. And if you want more information about it, you can go to lightweaveroracle.com. lightweaveroracle.com. This was a collaborative deck. It was put together by Jill Chesro, and the art was contributed by a number of different women from all over, just all different women, lots of artists that I had never encountered their work before. Their work is absolutely stunning, and it's a 44 card deck. So I'm going to try to go through it and show you all of the cards today. So it's not in its order, it's not in alphabetical order, but when you get the book, each woman submitted her own writing about the painting that she submitted. And some of them have little affirmations, and some of them share personal stories, and some of them share kind of more poetry. So the whole thing is really beautiful and unique. And I'm going to try and go through a bunch of the cards with you all. And then I thought at the end, I can draw a card for each person from this deck and read you what it says. So we're going to just dive right in. Here's the back of the deck. It shows this beautiful, robed woman. She's got kind of an angel wing, and in the background behind her are other figures and women. And there's planet Earth up here in the corner. And then down below, there's a symbol similar to the Vesica Pisces of the Chalice Well, but it's actually 4 instead of 2. And this is kind of a deck that symbolizes coming into the new world that's being created on the other side of difficulty and transformation. And what I think is very interesting is that this was published in 2018, before the pandemic. And I feel like the message is extremely relevant now. And Lisa, I see that you have a hand up. Did you have a question? Oh, thanks, Tara, for entering that.
I don't have a question, but I just wanted to let you know that I looked up that deck and you can get it at let me look. elementsofmastery.com.
elementsofmastery.com. Oh, that's great.
And
so they still have.
Yeah, they still have it, and it's in the US it's free shipping, and it's just under like $40.
Perfect. Wonderful. Well, when I was gifted this one, they had stock of it and they had sent it to different stores and places. And then the woman who gifted this one to me, she said, I don't think you can really get it anymore, but maybe that store still had some. So thank you for letting me know. But how great, because if you do want it, I highly recommend it. All right, so let's dive right in. So this card, the first one that comes up is called Birthing the Dark. And I'm gonna put a spotlight on my video just so that you can see the pictures a little bit larger. So birthing the dark, and the image shows the void of creation and almost like an umbilical cord rising from two hands. And this painting was done, see here, let me get to the title here. Oh, this painting, this is the one that was done by Priestess Maya, who gifted me this deck. How perfect that it just automatically pops up the very first card. So let's see what Priestess Maya has to say about this. She said, dear sister, what have you buried deep within? What is yearning to come out? All life is balance. We cannot bathe in the light without understanding the beauty of the dark. Let out what cries to be free. If you have chosen this card, you are ignoring some aspect of yourself that you've hidden away. Perhaps you've hidden it because you fear how people will judge you. Perhaps it's something you would rather not face. But it is time, my sister, to face your fears. All of you is beautiful. Bring light to your dark, hidden aspects and see how your light will only shine brighter. And it should be noted that when Priestess Maya did this painting and submitted this for the deck, her husband had just died, and she and her daughter were having to remake their lives from scratch. And they each submitted a painting that got included in this deck. She and her daughter, who was then like 7 or 8 years old. And when we get to that card, you'll be amazed at how skillful the art was. Okay, so that's our first card. And I'm not going to read the whole card for all of these. I'll just read the basic message. And then when we go back and we pull cards for everybody, then I'll read you your whole message. Okay, so the next card here is called The Light of Hope. And it's by Bev Malloy. It shows a sweet image of two people embracing. They have twin flames above their heads, and they're in a sphere of light. And then on the outside, there are stars and all of these other figures. The Light of Hope. And this card meaning is, in brief, sacrifices are coming and hardships are to be endured. We notice the chaos around us, and some days it's overwhelming. And then we find each other in the places we don't expect to. It encourages us not to lose hope. So that's a card about also a card about overcoming. This is the card that I drew when I was up on Mauna Kea last Sunday, last Sunday. The reason I couldn't come to class is because I went up on Mauna Kea. And it was the Rebirth card. This is by T. Ming Oi. And I loved this card. And I'll show it again. This says, in drawing, through every stroke of paint that I layered in creating this card, and every word of affirmation that I wrote on the canvas, I rebirthed and reclaimed myself as an artist who paints, and I healed the childhood art wound that had been inflicted on me by schoolmates and art teachers. So Rebirth is a card about reclamation of the things that we thought were lost due to past wounds. The next one is called Nighttime, and it shows a little baby asleep on the back of a killer whale, an orca, under the Milky Way. And this painting is by Odile de l'Aquila. And Odile de l'Aquila, I think maybe, I know her from Goddess Community. Let me go look and see. I wonder if she's related to, Odile de l'Aquila. Yeah, she lives here in Mount Shasta. That's how I know her. And she also has a residence in Switzerland. And the nighttime card signifies, let's get to it. Nighttime has come to your awareness, gently leading you back to your whole and complete state, inviting you to dive deeper into the layers of your consciousness. You are being asked to give more attention to your dreams and nightly travels. Where do you go when you're sleeping? So this is a card all about our dream world and paying attention to the dreams. The next one is Labyrinth of Light by Dr. Gianna Stanley Gonzaga. I know I loved that one. And this shows a labyrinth in this tree, and then this beam of sunlight coming down into the center of the labyrinth, and a kind of an elaborate cathedral arch around it, almost like a, vulva arch like we see in some statues of the goddess. And the Labyrinth of Light card is a cyclical spiritual journey through life's challenges and triumphs. This card blesses you with the clear message that you are on the right path, no matter where it's taking you. So a card about direction. This next one is called Pure Guidance, and it shows some of the colors that are traditionally associated with the elements and that we also sometimes see in a medicine wheel. Pure Guidance is by Jeanette Madera, and it is a card reminding you of your need for self-confidence. It says, the heart stays true to itself through its own inner guidance, regardless of the strong influences that surround it. You are that heart. You are that pure essence, constantly receiving and replenishing. And then it goes on to encourage us to find that pure heart by surrounding ourselves in nature and engaging in spiritual practices and creative activities. And could I post the name of the artist of the Babe on the Orca? Yes, of the Babe on the Orca, that was Odile, Odile, and her last name is Dell'Aquila, DELL'Aquila. And that's D. I need to make that a D. There she is. So anyway, back to the Pure Guidance card. It's basically saying you've got it within you. It's all within you. You can trust yourself. The next card is Mother Blessing, and that's by Joanne Parker, who also goes by the name Joe Tree. And it shows a tree with a woman, and she's holding a bouquet of flowers, and all around her are other people, but there's a light coming down through the tree, and it shows a little figure kind of coming into being. Do you see up in the corner here? This little being is traveling in on a light ray to the waiting mother, and around her are other family members or other supportive people, but she's receiving the download. And Mother Blessing conveys a prayer. She says, may the mother hold you close, and may your sisters give you comfort. May you always know understanding and compassion, and may the trees and plants around you show you the way to healing. So this is receiving the benevolence of the Great Mother and of those around you. This next one, also on a sort of a birth theme, is called Primal Source by Gianna Chesro. So this is probably somebody who's related to the editor, Jill Chesro. And Primal Source shows a baby being born from the world, and around the world or behind the world is the sun in a halo. So Primal Source is, oh, here it is, saying, you are born of the earth. The connection you share with the earth is apparent in all that you do and everything you see. She is your mother, and all living things are connected through an ancient genealogy, a long lineage that brings us to the stars and back. So this card is really about the fact that we are born from the cosmos and born of this earth, and that we are never alone. A card about the great family of humanity. The next card is called Initiation. And Initiation is also made by Joe Tree. So similar to the art in the card before this, the last one, we have these robed figures. And the Initiation card, there's 4 of them. There's 3 of them, excuse me, all together. And then there's one who's kind of subtly back here watching. So let's find out about this initiation. On the day you were born, the ancestors knew. They waited and waited until you slowly began to remember. Life's experiences, though often difficult, have been your initiation. So in the back, there's like this ancestor looking on as these women are living their lives and experiencing the initiation of this earthly existence. You can see why I'm in love with this deck, right? It's just so incredible. All right, our next card, and significantly so, because even though some of the cards in this deck have depicted otherworldly figures, you know, this is the first card that comes in that's specifically a woman of color, which I think is important that decks are, you know, designed with a wide range of representations. This is by Susan Kosharek, and it's called Passages. And the Passages card says, this card comes to you because there is a door that is opening for you now. Your soul is calling for the next version of you to come forth. So the Passages card showing this beautiful woman, she's stepping kind of toward and over a threshold, and there's this dove above her flying, and a flower blooming in the background, and a butterfly in the doorway, representing that there's a time of transformation upon her. Next, we've got the card called Grieve. Grieve. And this is by Shamsi Charlie Pettis. Shamsi Charlie Pettis. And it shows this woman, and her heart is cracked open. She's got swirls of energy and life force coming out, and the key word grieve. And this is written as a poem. Grieve, let it out, unstopper the bottle. Let your grief flow, allow the heaviness to drain. And then it gives a long list of things that can be done in order to facilitate that, like dance, write, paint, sob, quake. And it's a card about allowing ourselves to feel our feelings. I really feel like this idea of a new earth, a refreshed and replenished earth that's evolving as a result of all of the difficulties and challenges, requires that we have the emotional intelligence to truly grieve what was, and to also be able to see what hasn't worked and the pain of what hasn't worked, allowing ourselves to feel it. It's a courageous act to do that. And here's another card specific, beautiful, beautiful card, very detailed art with extremely evocative emotional expressions on the faces of the women representing ancient sisterhood, each in a different color robe with a different symbol at her heart. One has that multi-circle Vesica Pisces, one has a heart that looks like it's got seeds in it that are growing up into shoots. And then this other one has some kind of a glowing orb at her heart, though we don't see the whole thing. Ancient Sisterhood is also by Susan Kosherek and Susan Kosherek. And let's see, I think we probably all know what this one means. It's you're being called to an ancient way of being in sisterhood with other women. This sisterhood honors where we've come from. The sisters who came before us can be recognized, respected, and remembered. So it's a card really about honoring all of the lineage of women who have come before us. We are their reincarnations. We are their rebirths. And we can trust that we will be reborn and we will do this again somehow together. Because we're a traveling sisterhood through space and time. Our next one is called Eternal Moon. This is another card by Joanne Parker. And it's a very kind of abstract card. There are words underneath the paint that say things like new moon, and other things that I can't really read, and some symbols. And then there's a figure, you can almost see the reclining, it's very evocative, reclining figure of a woman with the moon kind of in her belly. And you can see like she's, kind of representational. There's a sort of a representational tree. I also see in this a bottle, maybe a bottle of moon water. This, you can see a lot of different things in this card. Eternal Moon. And let's see what Tree has to say about this. I am the constant anchor, a key and a light. My balance or my message to you has to do with the balance of light and shadow. My place in the sky as a beacon that truly anchors your energies to the Earth Mother. I ask you to accept your position and purpose in this lifetime by becoming aware of the gravitational energy I share with you, as well as the cycles that are tuned in to my energy. So, Eternal Moon. I read an article yesterday that had me shook. It said that the moon is moving away from the earth. It moves about an inch away from the earth and has been doing so for millions of years. The moon used to be much closer to the earth than it is now. It's moved a lot over the last 6 million years, just 1 inch a year. It moved more in the beginning. Now it's moving about an inch a year. And in a couple million years, it'll be as far away as another star. Isn't that interesting? And apparently that's the case with a lot of different planetary moons. I didn't know that. I was thinking moons are forever, but they're on a journey too, as space expands. So for now, for the next several million years, we have our eternal moon. This next card is called Shine Brightly. It's a depiction of a sunflower by Audana Scott Heidinger. And Shine Brightly, again, pretty self-explanatory, but it says here, on this day, shine like a beautiful sunflower. Lift your face and bask in the glow. Feel your roots extending into the heart of Mother Earth. Inhale into your heart space and exhale up and out to the heart of the cosmos. So a card about allowing ourselves to shine. This card showing a flower woman is also by Joanne Parker. She has quite a few in here, but so do Odile Delacilla and Marley Avant and Bev Malloy. Several of the women in this deck contributed 2 or 3 cards. So it's a nice kind of blend of their energies. This card is called Sanctity, and it shows a flower woman, almost like a fae woman, in the midst of a field. And sanctity, my purpose is to become. I am filled with renewal and rebirth, and my song comes from the richness of the earth. You have tried to cultivate me, hybridize me, and tame me, and I may look mild and meek, but in my bones are the memories of truth. I will outlive progress. Oh, that phrase gave me chills. I will outlive progress. Oh, that's amazing. Just to think about it, like really to think about what that means. Very powerful. And our next one is called The Lightest Heart by Nicole Stecker. It shows it's a kind of a humorous card, very kind of funny little cartoon face on a heart. The Lightest Heart. And this is on page 33. Someone got this card the other day in a draw, and it says, what messages do my angels and guides have for me? What hurdles am I meant to overcome? What existential wisdom do they have to impart to me? Sometimes they're just telling you a joke. Like when you're driving along upset and you cry out, why me? And a car suddenly passes with a license plate that says, because. So this is a card about reminding us of our humor and having a good sense of humor and a light heart about things so that we don't take things too seriously. This next one, Inner Goddess, is by Jane Albright. Inner Goddess. And it's again, kind of representational. It's showing what seems to be, it's interesting because it's a card that works no matter what way you look at it. But if you look at it on its side, you almost see that these mountains that look like breasts and volcanic activity beneath them. But this is the actual way that it's depicted. And it also looks like the figure of a reclining woman. So it's a piece of art that works any way you look at it. Inner Goddess. Your original essence carries the glory of triumphs, the wisdom of loss, the strength of scars, and the love of all times. Activate all of your infinite voices, empower the magnitude of your spiritual journeys. So this is really a card about locating within us that goddess energy in its many different forms. And then that's followed by the Inner Sage. And the Inner Sage card is by Melissa Dowling. simultaneously, you are your inner world and your outer world. You are your own guardian angel and your own unborn child. Go within to connect with the wisdom of the ages. It's a powerful card about how you have both kind of access to both the future and the past timelines right within you now. And that's a very shamanic concept, that we have more control over time than we think we do. This card is called Flourish by Rhoda Shope. And it shows a woman, she's dancing in a field, and she's got the sun in one hand and the moon in the other. Flourish. Now is your moment to flourish. Embrace yourself surrounded by the beauty of Mother Nature. Trust and allow yourself to be nourished by her love. Breathe in this very moment and ask yourself, what are my dreams? And another one that has a sun and moon theme together called Rise and Shine. And this one is by Bridget Kosmarski. Rise and Shine. It's time to wake up and remember who you are. If nature is the mother, then you are her precious baby. Your lineage holds the wisdom of all there is and all there ever was. So this seems like it's a, please send all your fears away and dance in the light from which you came. This one, another abstract, is called Connection. This is by Joanne Ederer. And it's called Connection. The energy of the universe moves through me, and I know that I am one with it all. Every atom that has gathered to form me has existed for all of time, and I am part of an infinite, endless energy. When my reserves feel low, I only have to ask, and a rejuvenating supply of peaceful energy arrives. So remembering that we are always able to ask for that fresh energy to come into our lives. And it's there for us. And I know for many of us, it's probably easy to forget that. If you're busy and taking care of all your business. This is by Kimberly Davis, called Integration. We cannot deny the painful things that happen, but they do not have to be the only stories we tell. In our darkest moments, we can find solace in the blessings of beloved memories. We can find peace in a single mindful breath and hope in the promise of future healing. Integration. This card is again a very whimsical one. This is by Jan Jolly and Julie Link. So maybe that's, let's find out. Jan Jolly. There's these artist bios back here. Jan Jolly and Judy Link. I'm wondering if they're a mother and daughter. I don't know. It doesn't say. They live in North Carolina, but they designed this card together. It's called Patterns, and it's a very whimsical card. Let me hold it up to you here. Patterns. Look at the patterns you've created around you, or did someone else create them for you? Look deep inside and find the soothing comfort of a warm quilt. Look into the truth of who you are, of what you need, and what you're creating. Find the truth and find that beauty. So it seems like this card is about overcoming negative patterns, but also bringing forward our positive ones. Remembering the positive. My goodness, we're only halfway done. I don't know if I'm going to get through the whole thing, but I am going to draw cards for everyone. So maybe what I'll do is in a minute, we'll wrap up the explanation so I can have time to draw one for everyone and we can talk about them a little. Oh, I love this one. This one is so fierce. The Emerging She by Marley Avant. Showing a woman, she's carrying a basin on her head. There's a lion at her side. Her breasts are bare. Her long trailing skirt there protects her legs as she walks in nature. And it's the Emerging She. Card number 50, page number 54. If you pulled this card today, it is time you embrace your highest potential. The emerging she within you is awakening and forging a new path for you, empowering your greatest strengths, your heart's cherished dreams, and your deeply sourced intrinsic wisdom. And I just love that lion energy. This one is called Surrender. Get to it. We have a couple in the, there we go, S category. Surrender was designed by Agatha Roy and Donna Love Hewling. Another collaboration. With open hands and an open heart, we are able to receive sustenance from our great mother, her limitless gifts from the 4 directions. And so all the directions and elements are depicted here. And then it goes on to talk about surrendering to the various elements, earth, water, air, and fire. All right, I'm going to do like one more and then I'm going to pull for everyone. Okay, and then the last one I'm going to do from this deck is Sister Moon. And this is by Kim Candlish. And it shows the figure of a woman and her face is the moon. And there's a radiant halo of light around her against a starry background. Sister Moon. We need only to look to the moon to witness the ebb and flow of life. The life force is always in a state of flux, which teaches us that hard times are temporary. Hold this in your heart and trust that Sister Moon and the ancestors are watching over you, nourishing you with energy and lighting your path. All right, so because I really want to make sure I get a chance to read for everybody, who'd like me to draw a card for them? Let me pull myself off of Spotlight so I can see everyone. Yeah, I think everybody wants one. All right, so let's do it. I'll go with first Devorah, since she's at the top left of my screen. So calling in the guidance for Devorah to take her into this season of the ancestors and magic, especially as she's launching her new Lilith Institute Facebook group, and there's excitement in the air for her work. For Devorah. Inner goddess, Devorah, inner goddess. What you got? Oh, great. And for Marie Peacock. Okay, good. So inner goddess for Devorah. I'll read the whole thing to you.
Thank you.
Open to your inner world, your wholeness that flows from life to life, from body to body.
Mm,
Your original essence carries the glory of triumphs, the wisdom of loss, the strength of scars, and the love of all times.
mm,
Activate all your infinite voices. Empower the magnitude of your spiritual journeys. When you are in your center of strength and sensing the largest extent of you, step into excitement as you own every present moment of newness and growth.
mm.
Be aware that there is no real death or fear when you understand your inner goddess, for your infinite self is always alive. Now, from the place of your own invincibility, what will you create next? Very
Thank you.
timely card for you, Devorah.
It is. Thank you.
That's great. That's great. All right. And then next up, we'll have for Lisa. So this card is for Lisa. What will she need to know for this time of the ancestors and our witches' new year? Going forward in this season of renewal. Initiation, Lisa, is your card. Initiation. And I will get to it.
You know what's funny?
What's
is
that?
when you were saying, you know, what you were saying when you were shuffling the cards, that is what came to my mind. That one word.
Wow. Isn't that magical how that happens? I love that.
Yes. Yes.
Right. Here we go. On the day you were born, the ancestors knew. They waited and waited until slowly you began to remember. Life's experiences, though often difficult, have been your initiation. You developed your wisdom and your medicine during this time. Each level of remembering comes with its own struggles and pain. Always the grandmothers and sisters stayed close by you. They supported and guided you each step of the way. You are held close to their hearts, for your gifts and medicine need to be shared with the world. You stand in a place of honor and join in the circle of healing women. It is time to step into the sisters' circle of medicine workers and truth seekers. That is
amazing.
Really, really perfect, especially as you're on your priestess journey.
Yes. And I mean, they weren't grandmothers, but I mean, it's kind of unique because my dad was born in 1896. He was 76 when I was born. And my half sister raised me. And so now she's in her 90s. So, I mean, I was with all those elders, you know, my whole life.
Wow.
That's kind of cool.
Thank you. Wow, Lisa, that's amazing. What an amazing way to come into this world. Thank you for
sharing. I was an aunt from the day I was born. It was, you know, pretty neat. They're all gone now, unfortunately, but I was with all those elderly women my whole life. They raised me, so it was pretty cool.
Well, they're still with you, just in spirit now.
That's right. Thank you for the card.
Thank you. All right, and next we'll read for Marie Peacock, Mary here on the screen. For Marie, as she goes into this season of the ancestors, this season of transformation and renewal, what message does she need to carry in her heart? Shine brightly is your message, Marie, and it's got this big sunflower on it. Shine brightly. On this day, shine. Shine like a beautiful sunflower. Lift your face to bask in the beautiful glow. Soak up the positivity this creates by closing your eyes and feeling the energy surround you. Stay grounded and feel your roots extending into the heart of Mother Earth. Inhale into your heart space and exhale up and out to the heart of the cosmos. As above, so below. Feel the energy spreading out all around you like heat waves. As within, so without, to all the corners of the universe. Shine your light brightly. Definitely something to think about as you are coming to the end of your priestess training journey and thinking about what your project in the world will be, how you'll offer your gifts to the world. All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm so glad. I'm so glad you got that one. And next for Tara. So Tara, here's your card for you in this season of the ancestors, the witch's new year, the time of renewal. What is the message for Tara? Passages. And it says, this card comes to you because there is a door open for you now. It might be a significant door, perhaps a new job or a new dwelling, or it might be a class that interests you. Whatever this door is for you, it is open now because you are ready. Your soul is calling for this next version of you to come forth. Stepping through this door can bring up old stories, old fears and beliefs. Acknowledge and release these as best you can. If a part of you wonders if this is the right time for change, ask yourself, who will I be if I don't go? With love and gratitude for all that has brought you to this door, with courage and strength, take the steps your soul is calling you to take. You are ready for this passage. You are fully supported. Divine love is guiding you. And I'm thinking about how Tara recently, we were talking about how you were kind of feeling like maybe it was time to get a little involved in your new community where you just moved to. So
It's kind of like Lisa. I actually wrote down, your soul is calling for the next version of you to come forward. When you read that card, I jotted that down.
It's like perfect, picture perfect magic. I love it. Yeah, I do. I feel like your area needs your wise woman skills in some way. And it's just looking for which is the door to go through.
Haven't figured it out yet.
But now
Work
you
in
know.
progress.
Yeah, you're on the journey, and certainly you keep getting these affirmations that the right thing is going to come. All right. And Jennifer, who recently survived her first hurricane as a resident of New Orleans, congratulations, Jennifer. You did great. You kept your animals and your children safe, and you managed to get groceries and things people in your neighborhood might need, and you were helping out with people. So what is the message for Jennifer for her first season in which city? In New Orleans, the city of magic. And what does she need to know in this Samhain time? Luminosity. We didn't read this one aloud. This is a one that we hadn't had before. So let's get to it. There is a light, a flame, shining brightly deep inside of you, waiting to be ignited and made visible. You are sitting at the banquet table of your life, awakening to the essential truth of who you are and what you came to do. You are experiencing a great purification and renewal as you release old doubts, fears, and negative beliefs. You are the alchemist, transmuting lead into gold, keeper of the secret magic of the flame. As you shine your light, you become the beacon for others to do the same. Do not hold back, dear one. Claim this light. Follow your heart and your passion, for it is a sacred gift from the divine. And there's an extra little note on this card. They don't all have them, but this one says, a note from the artist. Luminosity emerged shortly before my home and possessions were destroyed in a California wildfire. She reminds us that life is precious and that this luminosity is available even in times of great darkness. That's very powerful, being that you just left California to start your life anew.
Can I say something?
Of course, please.
You know my background, and
Yes.
for 22 years I saw people just lose everything in their fires and such, and in the same years
Firefighter.
and then in California with the firefighters, of course I relate to that too.
Yeah.
And then I come here, and people across the state of southern part of Louisiana are just devastated. And it really brings home, like, I understand a lot of what the culture, it really struck me is that it's more of like, just live and enjoy living, like experience all the time that you have and enjoy it, and don't get fixated on all of the imperfections and all of the things and all of the I shoulda, woulda, coulda. Is just every single day is precious. Everything that you have, it doesn't have to be perfect, and it's precious. And that's one thing, just seeing people's belongings just littering the streets. I don't want to say littering, that's the wrong word,
but just upended. Yeah.
Yeah, just pulled out of their houses. And so there's the light will always be there if you allow it to be there, and it's not wrapped up in anything else except for the joy of life. So
I love that. Thank you so much. And I think that the goddess has put you right where you're meant to be, because you are a natural helper, healer spirit, and you gave a lot to the West Coast, and now you're giving it to the Southeast Coast. And it is a powerful, powerful thing to be in the medicine of a strong woman who is capable and knows what she's doing. So thank you for what you're doing, and how perfect. And then finally, I'll draw one for myself, because now it's been a week since I drew from this deck, my Rebirth card. So this one is for me. What do I need to pay attention to in this season of the ancestors, in this time of change? The Rebirth card came again. A week ago, I drew this card. A week ago to the day, I drew this card.
That must have to do with your travels.
It definitely does. I'll read it aloud, because when I read it, it was so powerful to me. And it is something that I'm working on right now. I'm through this traveling last week, the last couple weeks, and then this trip that is yet to come. I do feel like I'm kind of experiencing a rebirth, like fresh ideas and new visions of my work, and fresh inspiration for things that I want to do. So I'll read aloud what it says. This rebirth acrylic painting is the blessed container for the sacred union of heaven and earth, birthing the divine child. The play and juxtaposition of colors, lines, shapes, and sacred symbols are infused with the energy of peace, love, passion, abundance, and the joy of creation. Through every stroke of paint that I layered, And every word of affirmation that I wrote on the canvas, I rebirthed and reclaimed myself as an artist who paints. And I healed the childhood art wound that had been inflicted on me by schoolmates and art teachers. In drawing this card, you are being encouraged to experience a personal rebirth by reclaiming a wounded aspect of yourself that is ready to be healed. And my whole journey, what I've realized is that, you know, if you see like on Facebook, my little thing where you're supposed to describe yourself, I just put mountain woman, you know, and I am a mountain woman. I'm of this mountain. And when I went to Hawaii, I didn't have any plan to go up on Mauna Kea. It's a far drive to get to Mauna Kea. It's like 2.5 hour drive from where we were staying. So I wasn't really keen on a 5 hour round trip drive to go up to, you know, the Mauna. I had so many other things going on. And the whole time I was on retreat, I was really working, you know, I was like making sure everybody had the activities and events, and, you know, we did the rituals, and it was beautiful and it was wonderful, but I didn't have a lot of free time for myself. And every day of the trip, I kept getting the message like internally, go to Mauna Kea, go to Mauna Kea. And I was like, that's not on the list, self. We can't do that. And so then then I even floated it past the women. I was like, would anyone like to go to Mauna Kea? It's like a 5 hour round trip. And they were kind of like, not sure. And so then I thought, okay, we're not going to do this. It was the 2 days before we left. We went to the beach. We had a lovely day, watched the sun start to go down. We decided it was time to go and close for the day. And we had spent the whole day looking at beautiful tropical fish in tide pools. It was amazing. And as we're leaving the beach, we drove on this road, and there was a big hand painted sign on the side of the road that said, Mauna Kea needs you. And I was like, oh my God. And so I said to the sisters, I will not be able to go home and face my own mountain if I don't go visit this mountain. I will not be able to come home and face Mount Shasta if I do not go make offerings at Mauna Kea, because if I'm a mountain woman, I'm an every mountain woman. And I have to go to the ones that are available. So I went to the natural supermarket, and you'll never believe this, but there is beautiful natural spring water that's bottled 3 blocks from my house here in Dunsmuir that they were selling in the store. I got a bottle of that water. My friend had bought a lei, a beautiful, beautiful smelling lei. She gave it to me to take. I was visiting with my spiritual teacher before this. She gave me some incense, and I took my little bundle of offerings. I said to everybody, my car is leaving tomorrow at 7 a.m. to go to Mauna Kea. If anyone feels like you have a personal mountain to climb, go ahead and let me know, and you can come with me. And they basically said to me, you have spent this whole time taking care of us, and we know you need time alone, and we're sending you to the mountain by yourself. That's our gift to you. Go have your whole experience there. And so I did. I had an amazing, amazing time. And let me show you. So I went up to 9,000 feet on Mauna Kea. You can go all the way up as high as 13,000 feet, but I never go above the green line on any mountain, because most Indigenous people worldwide believe that's part of the mountain is reserved for the spirits. And I never go like above the tree line or above the green line. So instead, I went up to about 9,000 feet, and there was a perfect cleft in the rock that looked like a yoni. And I did my offerings there. And then I drew the rebirth card from that. And so this time, a week from now, or 2 weeks from now, I will be on Mount Parnassus in Greece. And 3 weeks from now, I will be at Mount Olympus. And I'm going to go make offerings to those mountains. And the offerings I'm making are that I am asking all of the mountains of the earth to create beneficial new weather systems, that there be snow caps on all of the mountains that need them, and fresh rushing water in the spring in all the rivers and streams and creeks, and asking the mountains of the world to form a protective layer to help with because the mountains create weather wherever they are, to help create a block against climate change, and to give us time to come up with better solutions, and to give us time, now that we have better solutions, to enact them. So that was sort of my purpose. So I feel like, you know, that's my rebirth, is a rebirth of my sense of purpose in a very big way. And yes, I see I got a little mountain emoji here. Oh, thank you. And Tara says, my heart goes with you. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you very much for sending prayers and sending good wishes. And please know that when I go and I do these offerings, I do them for us all. And I ask for us all to have what we need and what we want, and for our blessings to shower on us. And that includes everybody, including all of you. Thank you, everyone. And Lisa says, you're definitely a mountain woman. Thank you, Lisa. All right, everybody, I hope everyone had fun today with the Priestesses of the New Earth Oracle. I'll be gone in October, but I'll be back in November, and we'll be back to our regular schedule, and I'll have lots of stories and pictures to share. Take care. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.